Historically, when building a mechanical keyboard, you would need to source switches, keycaps, and the case itself from different locations. To those unfamiliar with the mechanical keyboard hobby, you might be surprised to learn that nearly all premium mechanical keyboards generally do not come with switches or keycaps to actually use the board out of the box. With the launch of Mode themes, we set out to design our own switches and keycaps, making it possible to purchase all the components that make a mechanical keyboard directly from us here at Mode. And creating our own keycaps from scratch was one of our most challenging projects ever since starting Mode. We wanted our keycaps to have rich colors, stunning legends, and extreme durability, so we decided on a rotary double-shot molding process with a proprietary ABS PBT blend material that is both shine and scratch resistant. This is the story of how we designed our keycaps. Phase 1 begins with designing keycaps to meet the user's needs, defining a keycap profile, choosing layout support, and designing legends and color palettes. We opted for a cherry keycap profile, a profile that has wide acceptance within the community and an aesthetic appeal. We collaborated with veteran graphic designer Max Voltar, also known as MVKB, to meticulously design the legends of our keycaps for a uniform appearance and spacing based on a modern sans serif font family called New House Grotesque. New House Grotesque is an updated version of the font that modern Helvetica was based on, and also the original name for Helvetica. This font family draws inspiration from classic typefaces such as Helvetica and Universe, but with a modern twist. We identified every individual keycap in our kit, choosing the most popular keyboard layouts including ANSI or ISO, 60%, 65%, 75%, TKL, full size, and 1800 form factors. We also chose to support some less common layouts such as Alice, HHKB, 40%, and we included a full set of macOS bottom row legends with the option and command keys for both 6.25U and 7U spacebar configurations. In total, our base kits have all the keycaps necessary to fit the majority of typical keyboard layouts, totaling 172 individual keys. The next step in this phase was selecting colors for our keycaps. After brainstorming different color schemes and reviewing hundreds of different Pantone chips, we ultimately selected the colors that would create the first 3 Mode keycap sets: Anthracite, Obscura, and Tomorrow. These first 3 themes were designed to allow us to achieve our vision of being able to create a desk setup that aligns with our target audience's design aesthetic. Designed to be a relatively tame but staple set that complements a variety of boards and desk setups. You have Obscura, a classic set refined with our new legends; Anthracite, a lighter option with contrasting modifiers for a clean but dynamic look; and Tomorrow, warm gray tones with pops of color based on a revamped version of its namesake's IDE theme. Phase 2, from design to production, mechanical design of our keycaps. In this stage of the design process, we had to first create detailed 3D models of every keycap in our kit that would ultimately be used to program the CNC machines to cut the steel mold negatives for the injection molding process. We iterated with our manufacturer to provide feedback on the feasibility of our 3D designs for manufacturability, and during this period of time, there were 2 main challenges that had to be addressed. First, could the geometry of our keycaps be machined? The diameter of the end mills used to make the molds needed to be considered, leading to limitations to minimum feature size and spacing between characters on certain legends. One particularly difficult area was the spacing between the F and T characters on the Shift legend. A lot of double-shot keycaps tend to have an oddly large spacing between these 2 characters, leading to a confusing visual appearance where the T appears to be floating ever so slightly further away from the rest of the word. And second, would the injection molds fill properly? Legends with islands that are fully enclosed on all sides, such as letters A, D, B, O, and P, require a special approach in the double shot molding process. In typical double shot molding, the legend is formed in the first shot, a single color, and the legends are then moved into the second shot mold, where the second outer color is formed around the legend, hence the name double shot. In this overmolding step, there has to be a channel to fill these little islands, achieved by embedding a narrow steel thimble with extreme precision within injection molding tooling. These long and narrow thimbles are carefully ground, then delicately finished using electrical discharge machining due to the high aspect ratio. The next step of this phase is color grouping and allocation of each keycap to a mold. The color grouping system we used was based on the Tomorrow theme, where each row has a different color modifier. This resulted in 7 sets of molds in total, grouped by modifier legend color. All the alpha keys are molded together in one large tool. After keycap grouping was determined, the next step was to design the mold layout. Gates and runners were laid out to ensure balanced flow and consistent fill pressures and pack out times across the tools. Our gating strategy was selected to minimize the visible gates on the outside of the parts. On the first shot, hot runner technology is used with a stripping plate to tear away the sprues and runners while minimizing the vestiges that remain on that part. These vestiges are then hidden by the second shot on the overmold. During the overmold, the gating strategy here is particularly important because visible marks will be apparent on the keycaps. A complex cashew gating strategy was used to hide the gate underneath the edge of the keycap outside of the visible area. Our mode keycaps completely hide this gating mark, leading to a smoother, more consistent surface finish on the outside surface of the keycap. Another unique element that sets our mode keycaps apart from the crowd are the engraved row profiles in the mold cavities of each keycap. It can sometimes be difficult to find that exact row profile that you're looking for, as you could get mixed up easily between, say, a row 2 page up key or a row 3 page up key. The row profiles engraved onto mode keycaps will help you quickly and easily find the exact keycap for your layout. And finally, in this phase of the design process, we have to consider the keycap texture. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of possible surface textures available. And contrary to popular belief, it's less about the material used than it is the surface textures applied directly to the steel molds. These textures are applied using a variety of processes such as media blasting, where media such as sand, glass, or metal powder is shot at a surface with high pressure to leave an imprint on the molds. The most complex of these processes is known as electrical discharge machining, or EDM sparking, where an electrode is brought very close to the surface of the mold in a specialized machine and high voltage is applied. The electrode sparks against the surface, causing bits of the mold to be eradicated with each spark. Parameters of the EDM machine can be controlled to fine-tune the resulting surface finish. We used this technique to ensure that the surface finish of the molds resulted in an extremely homogeneous finish close to a VDI 3.3 surface texture. The result is a glossy yet lightly textured surface that is highly scratch resistant and aesthetically pleasing. Phase 3. Crafting perfection. The injection mold making and machining process. A few months later, all of our mold pieces were now rough machined, heat treated, CNC machined, EDM'd, textured, engraved, and ready for assembly. The delicate assembly process is like assembling an engine, with steps that must be performed in a specific sequence by highly skilled professionals knowing what to look for at every step. It requires a high level of precision and attention to detail to ensure that the molds will produce keycaps that meet our exacting standards. Long ejector pins and thimbles were installed, hot runner nozzles were plumbed and wired to their controllers, and the venting of the mold was analyzed after being fit up and assembled to ensure that gases could escape during molding to minimize the tendency for surface defects like burning or orange peel. This is a crucial step in the process, as any surface defects on the keycaps could significantly impact both their appearance and functionality. The resulting mold assemblies were then mounted into the rotary double-shot injection molding machines for the first time for testing. The critical parameters of the molding process were dialed in, like pressures and injection temperatures and cooling time, which are all necessary steps that must be perfectly controlled to ensure good parts come off of the tools. Varying any of these pressures during molding could result in surface defects on the parts, so their acceptable ranges are determined during this phase of testing. During mass production of the keycaps, these parameters are closely monitored by production engineers to ensure the highest quality keycaps possible. In short, the injection mold making and machining process is a meticulous and complex process that requires expertise and attention to detail at every step of the way. The end result is a set of keycaps that meets our exacting standards for quality and functionality, and are a testament to our commitment to excellence. Phase 4. Refinement through iteration. After receiving early samples and identifying issues, we began the process of iteration and refining the design. This included modifications to the previously mentioned F and T lettering on the shift key, which required machining steel and insertion of plugs with modified legends, and the downstream mold elements that overlap this area. We also needed further modifications to the F and J keys to better outline our specifications of scooped and barred alternatives. Although time-consuming, this was a necessary step to ensure that the final product met our high standards. While the mold designs were undergoing refinement, we also worked on the color matching process to ensure alignment with our Pantone specifications, a historically lengthy process for keycap group buys. This involved a lot of trial and error and testing various samples until we were able to ensure our plastic was high quality and met our color requirements. To ensure we achieved the perfect color, we took color samples and photographs in standardized color booths using D65, TL84, and CWF lighting to simulate different lighting scenarios, saving us time and resources to avoid shipping samples repeatedly back and forth between our manufacturer and headquarters. Once satisfied, we began the injection molding process. Now, historically, keycaps have either been made out of ABS or PBT plastic. ABS is hard and scratch resistant, but has low chemical and wear resistance, leading to keycaps that shine fairly quickly. PBT is much more resistant to finger oils and doesn't shine as easily, but is softer and more prone to scratches. To strike a balance between shine resistance and wear resistance, we opted for a material blend offering the best of both worlds. Our proprietary ABS PBT blend creates a keycap that is scratch resistant and doesn't easily shine. Combined with our EDM sparking surface texturing method, the result is a keycap that will stand the test of time. Throughout this process, we monitored our keycaps, ensuring they met our quality standards, adjusting the process as needed, tweaking the pressures, temperatures, and cooling time to achieve the desired results. We work with our manufacturer to create quality control processes at every stage of molding, including standards for spacebar flatness, surface texture and gloss, flashing, gate marks, and other common injection molding failures that must be inspected for. Designing and manufacturing keycaps is a complex and involved process that requires careful attention to detail and collaboration between designers, manufacturers, and quality control experts. At Mo Designs, we take pride in our commitment to excellence in every step of the process, from determining the function requirements of the keycap set, to the mechanical design and injection mold making, to the modifications and improvements necessary to create a product that meets our exacting standards. We believe the final result speaks for itself. By sharing this design process with you, we hope to give you a deeper understanding of the art of refinement that goes into creating high-quality keycaps. Our mode-themed keycap sets are a testament to our dedication to craftsmanship and attention to detail, now available today in 3 stunning colorways. Obscura, for a timeless monochrome classic in its most refined form yet, Anthracite, inspired by urban minimalism and precision engineering, and Tomorrow, an optimistic ode to programmers creating the new digital frontier based on a revamp of its namesake's IDE theme. Each theme with a collection of desk mats, fine art prints, switches, artisans, and of course, the all-new Mode keycaps.